Order the September 15, 2022 public hearing of the City of Prescott Board of Adjustments. Board members present are myself, Tony Teeters, Vice Chair, Tom Davis via Zoom, Mary Frederickson, Mark Hoeknes, Larry Meads, and James Myers. And we have Kaylee Nunez as recording secretary, George over there. Kirby, right? Kirby, our new community development director, and welcome, and thanks for coming on board. Tammy DeWitt, and that's it, right?
Councilman.
Council member.
Oh, sorry, Brandon. Brandon Montoya, the council member. Okay. This is an open public hearing. It is being recorded by the city. The proceedings are being televised by representatives of the public media, the public, local cable and/or radio stations, and may also be rebroadcast. The number of board members present, including Zoom, are six, and it will require 4 votes for majority. As some individuals may be attending via Zoom, all party wishing to be heard, including board members, are required to state their name prior to speaking in order to ensure proper recordation. Members of the public are required to state their name and address for the record so that we may know who is speaking and be able to contact them at a later date if necessary. Please keep your phone and your PC microphone on mute unless you are speaking. Kaylee, do I have my packet? Yeah.
I generally don't bring those unless requested, but
Well, I did.
we can get one.
Yeah, I did. Request.
Someone go get it near the front counter.
Yeah, mine.
I put it out at the front counter. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So,
I'm old.
that's all right.
Thank you, Brandon. Okay, the following agenda will be considered by the Board of Adjustment at its meeting to be held today, September 15th. Your dial-in number would be 1-253-215-8782 or 1-929-205-6099. I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Would you like to lead us?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Little housekeeping, the July 21st, 2022 meetings. We need to approve the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion. This is Larry Meads.
Thank you, Larry. Do I?
Chair, I'll second.
And we have a second. Oh, state your names.
And it's Mark Hoeknes.
Mark, thank you. Today, the public hearing items is V22-0.
We have to take a vote on the minutes.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Public hearing item, V22-005, variance to Article 6, Section 6-4-4-A, fence and wall location height of Land Development Code to allow a 6-foot fence in front setback area along Shimmer Drive on a vacant 3.13 acre parcel zoning SF9 single family. Property owner applicant Sue and James Knapp? Knapp, okay. APN 11-11148L. Locations 501 Fairgrounds Avenue. And you're on.
Thank you, and good morning, board, members of the board, chairman. Tammy DeWitt, community planner with the city of Prescott. So as stated, the request for, in front of you today is a variance to allow for up to a 6-foot fence in the front setback area along Shemmer Drive. It is a vacant piece of property. It's about 3.13 acres. So here's the site plan that was submitted with the application. This is the property in question. There's a majority of the property has rock outcroppings on it that go all the way up to the road boundary or the property line. There's this area here that's going to be a future building area that's already kind of flattened out. Whoops. And the access to the property is down in here. So because the access is here, Shemmer Drive here is considered the front. And so in this zoning district, we have a front setback of 20 feet that goes about right here on this dotted line. So per our code in this front setback area, you can only have a 4-foot fence. Whether it's see-through or not, it can only be 4 feet in height. So the applicant is requesting the ability to put the fence right on the property line, which is allowed to be, a majority of the fence is going to be 5 foot, this 5-foot field panel fencing here. So along the side, the back, and along this front area here, along where the rock areas are, there's going to be this 5-foot view panel fencing, which will kind of blend into the rock outcroppings. And then from this point here down, they're going to have a more decorative fence here with a wall with a screening mesh in it. And some of these posts, the columns, are up to 6 feet per the rendering. So that's why we did the 6-foot request. A majority is this, oh man, it's touchy today. Majority of this fence is 5 foot, except where those columns are. So we just wanted to make sure, because of the elevation change and everything, we're taking care of their requests. So when they come in for permitting, there's going to be no question whether it's 5 to 6 feet. So the request before you today is to allow for a 6-foot fence, or up to a 6 foot, within the front setback area here. And like I said, a majority of the fence is going to be this 5-foot panel, which will run the back and the side and along this portion of the property. And then starting here where this more solid line is here, they're going to have this more decorative Santa Fe style wall with the screening blended into it. Here's the imagery of the property. Like I said, right here is about that flat building area. Then we have a lot of the rock outcroppings around this property. So this is the only real area that they could develop, and this is the access here. It is zoned single-family residential, so the use is allowed that they're going to propose. Right now it is vacant. They can fence off their property even though it's vacant, and they do have plans later on possibly to build a house on this property. And here kind of shows along, like I said, the rock outcroppings come all the way down to the property line and the road. So the fence will go on, they're going to have to get it surveyed to make sure they get it on their property. But that's once you see the fence there, that type of paneling, it's just going to blend in. So whether it's 4 foot or 5 foot, it's not going to really, it's going to blend into the environment there. Man, this thing's touchy today. And here's another view from the road. There is some more existing fencing on the property. We didn't have a permit for it, so we're not really sure where it is, but their plans are to take all this other fencing down and put up their new fencing. This is the variance criteria that we look at. Extraordinary conditions, substantial detriment, special privileges, self-induced hardship, the general plan, and utilization. It's just a fence. It's going to blend into the environment, and they do have plans to develop the property sometime in the future. Notices were sent to all the property owners within 300 feet. We got no letters of support or opposition to the request. We did get a couple of calls and talked to a couple of property owners, and I believe we do have one of the neighbors here that may want to say something. And here's our suggestion motion to either approve or deny the fence request. And that concludes my presentation. I'm free to answer any questions, and the applicant is also here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Tammy.
Mr. Chairman, this is Larry Mead. I have a question for Tammy. Has that property been used for parking spaces in the past? That portion along the street, that is, for parallel parking?
There's no parking signs along that area of the road.
And if that fence is put on the property line, that's what I'm hearing, on the property line?
Correct.
How far back would that be from the pavement, edge of the pavement?
It would have to be surveyed to be able to answer that question. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
The applicant may know.
All
I'm
right.
sorry, somebody in the audience raised their hand. They may
That's the
have
applicant. If you'd like to
an answer.
explain that, if you want to come up and we need your name and.
My name is Jim Knapp. My wife and I are the applicants.
Can you move the microphone a little
microphone.
closer?
I anticipated that that question might be asked, and we have had it surveyed, and there are flags there. And so I went out the other morning with a tape measure. I'm no surveyor, I'm just a guy with a tape measure, but hooked one end of the tape on the survey stakes and walked back to looked down at the edge of the pavement and measured from the edge of the roadway to all the survey stakes I could find, which were spaced about 50 feet apart. The most was about 16 and a half feet, and the least was about 9 and a half feet, and the average was right at 13 feet of space between the property line and the edge of the road. I just wanted to add a comment that I heard while I was doing that. One of our neighbors on Shemmer, Mark Walters, who lives just up over the hill, was coming back from dropping his kid off to school and said, "What are you doing there?" And I told him, and he said, "Well, good. I hope they do build a fence because it'll help control the homeless habitat that goes on there." And that's just my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have anyone else that would like to speak, like one of the neighbors or anybody else?
This is Mary Frederickson. Tammy, I have a question. Since the fence from the survey markers is going to have an average of 13 feet from the fence to the edge of the roadway, is parking allowed along that stretch? Is that
There's no parking signs along that stretch of road.
okay? And so no issue as far as emergency access, because the rodeo grounds is right there, so I imagine there's the potential for a bigger emergency than maybe on my street. That's not an issue for fire, that kind of thing?
No, the main access is going to be down here, which is their access to the property, and they're going to have a gate there. So that'll meet all fire code requirements.
Actually, I was thinking more of emergency trucks coming through to access to the backside of the rodeo grounds, for example.
It
That's
doesn't
not an
block,
issue?
it doesn't block the rodeo property. That's a separate property.
Okay. Right, I was just thinking about the width of the road.
No.
No issue with that.
No,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
Are there any more comments?
Mr. Chair, this is Mark Oakness. A question for staff. There's an existing non-permitted fence there, is that correct?
Yes.
And if the property were sold and somebody wanted to modify the fence, the variance stays with the property?
The variance stays with the runs with the land.
Okay, fantastic. So if it meets the criteria and is approved by the board, then that would stick with the property going forward. If somebody wanted to put a full 6-foot fence up, they would be able to.
Well, it is also per the rendering and the site plan submitted, so they have to match what's
excellent.
being approved.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, with no further questions, is there a motion to approve?
I can read that off.
Thank you.
It's also up on the screen.
Well, thank you. Mr. Chairman, this is Larry Meads, and I make a motion. I move to approve V22-005 to allow a fence as submitted within the front setback to be up to 6 feet in height per the site plan and renderings provided.
Thank you. We have a second?
James Myers here. I second that motion.
Any further comments? All in favor, did I do something wrong? Oh, you looked at me. You looked at me like my wife does, scared me. And then all in favor signify by,
Aye.
Aye.
see
Aye.
Tom?
Well, it was a unanimous vote, so the request passes. And since that's all we have, thank you very much for coming, and can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.